Going live. Let's see if we can see a picture. Oh, something's happening. Something wonderful is happening. And we'll hopefully see people start to dial in. How's yours going, Joe? How's your computer? Oh, I think it's working.
Is it working?
Yeah.
I can't tell yet.
Some people coming on. We've got Jeff Wybo. We've got Daniel Hickey. Coffee ready. Can't wait, fellas. Jeff, is Sadie around? That's all I want to know. I assume it's not too early for her. One Jeep Cam, how you doing? James Bond 007. Dennis Allam. Nice. Let us just go down here. We're going to be starting in a few minutes. You are all early birds. Oh, she's napping, Jeff. That's Jeff Wybo. Ladies and gentlemen, James Bond Canada, Jeff Wybo. We'll be talking about...
What's up, Jeff?
We'll be talking about James Bond Canada later.
I think I'm doing something wrong.
You hit the play thing. So welcome to Old Men Trying to Figure Out Technology. Technology is a nemesis once you get over 46. How old are you, Jeff? How old are you, Jeff? How old are you?
49.
49.
Yeah.
So he's got 3 years into this. That's going to be bad.
Counting down.
Counting down. Justin, welcome. Again, we have a few minutes. Depending on where you are, get some coffee, get some eggs. How are you doing? You getting there?
I'm not sure.
Are we doing it from one computer?
Could be.
I know it worked before when we tested it.
It did.
By the way, ladies and gentlemen, we are shooting live from Skyfall, Zaritsky household. And we're sitting amongst the collection. We'd figure we'd give you some nice background here of a little bit of Skyfall, a little bit of Spectre. This is part of the Daniel Craig section. So you may have to go to that one. That's the one you set up. That's the live cast you set up. Look at me. It's like the blind leading the blind. I wouldn't listen to me if I was him. What do you think?
I don't think that's it.
That's not it. That's not it. Another minute or so, we'll start the show. And if not, I will center this puppy. See who else has joined. Marky Mark from Staffordshire in the UK. You got your coffee ready? I may have to use my glasses. Hey, you got it.
I think we did.
Good Lord, man.
Okay.
All right, so Joe Darlington, you're going to actually see him from time to time looking off that way because he's got his computer set up. He's got Instagram over there. We've got my computer. There's too many lenses for this live stream, but we're going to give it a try anyway. You on?
I believe I should be.
All right. We'll let your computer think for a moment.
Is it because I scheduled for 10 o'clock? Do you think maybe it's not going to launch until 10?
Maybe. I doubt it, though. Oh, you know why? Because you got to go.
How about this button here that says Start
Broadcast?
Exactly.
By the way, there has to be technical issues on every one of these. For those of you that watched it last time, a couple of weeks ago, there were technical issues, and now there's technical issues again. I think it's cooking.
There you
go. All right.
Now we're cooking.
So you've got choices here. You could stay on obviously the Bond experience. You could also go to Being James Bond if for some reason you're a glutton for punishment and want a different look. But here we are. Joe, welcome.
Sir, good to be here. You got to go down with the camera, boy. I think I got to upgrade over here.
You may have to upgrade. Then again, he's working from an Apple. I'm working from a Surface Pro 4. Just saying. Little plug. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the second live stream. We're doing this, obviously, from YouTube. We've got a little Instagram going. 2 YouTubes at a time. First of all, we wanted to thank you because you've got a lot of choices of what you could do on your Saturday, and you're deciding to, for some strange reason, spend it with Joe and I. We don't quite understand that, but
And Saturday morning, you could be sleeping.
you could be and should be sleeping.
And I hope you're in pajamas drinking coffee, because that's what I'd be doing.
It's not just Saturday morning. We've got people from the UK dialing in.
It's true.
Here's what I want. I want everybody that's in the chat room right now to stop what they're doing and tell us where you're from. Right now. We want to check it out. This is, for those of you that know Romper Room, they would start at the beginning of the show and they go, I see Tommy, I see Jeff, I see David from Yorkshire. We've got somebody from Central Illinois. Oh my God.
Nice, very cool.
All right, you're from far away. We've got Austin, Texas. We have
Serbia.
London, Boston, Serbia. We have Austria. We have France. We have Rhode Island, Scotland. We have Blackpool,
Scotland.
Arizona, Georgia, Massachusetts, the Netherlands, and somebody else from the Netherlands. We have India. We have UK. We have Russia. Good Lord. We have Norway, Philippines.
I got
Jacksonville,
Tennessee,
Florida.
Canada, Virginia. What's up, guys?
You have the United States here.
There you go.
And I've got the global markets, it seems like. Sudbury, UK. We've got Sweden. We've got Taiwan. We've got the UK. We've got sunny California. It's sunny there already?
Beautiful.
It's always sunny
Dayton, Ohio.
in
Very
California for some reason.
Nice. Yeah. It's beautiful.
We are going to be talking about a lot of topics today.
Mhm.
And it's not just us talking. That would be just a video that we post. This is about interacting with you. We're going to take your questions. And really, there's nothing that we can't talk about, right?
Sure.
Do we have any embargoes going on?
No, it's a tight little group here. This is the hardcore Bond guys, so we can do.
It's a little bit more than that. Right now, we've got a lot of people going on. Jay Sadowski coming on,
Cool.
Norfolk, Virginia. We've got New Zealand. All right, let's get started. Joe, I've prepared.
Yes, you have.
Look at me, Boy Scout. I've got my news sheet here, and we've got to start off. I think we've got to start off with Bond 25. And by the way, if this was a board meeting, there'd be an agenda. Here's kind of how we're going to roll with this. And I have no idea how long this is going to take or if we're just going to take a nap midway. But we're going to talk about Bond 25. We're going to talk about facts. We're going to talk about rumors. We're going to talk about speculation. Take a lot of questions from you.
Cool.
We're going to be talking about events.
Yeah.
You know, what are the things that, once we leave this dark, dank basement, maybe even connecting with the Bond community face to face,
Yep.
and some of the more official or unofficial ones going on. We're going to be talking about fitness. Joe,
We need it.
what is something is going on? Everybody's wrapping themselves around hashtag Bond25 Fitness.
Yeah.
So we're going to be talking about that. We're going to be talking about influencer marketing, and it's not as corporate as it sounds. But who are other Bond people that maybe you should be following and engaging with? Our favorites.
Yep.
And it's funny. We have a theme on here called "Cool versus Creepy." Come on, folks! It's Saturday morning. We're going to end it with Bond community and some of the stories out there from people. But again, this is this a Amiga Planet Ocean from Casino Royale? What? Why? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And by the way, we're kind of decked out today. I've got a little bit of brandage going on here. Little brandage. Look at my man. He's like, Zerinsky, you think you're going to be the only billboard today?
Exactly. I had people sit there like, he decked from head to toe in branding. Come on.
Yeah. That was for a photo. And by the way, lest you think I leave the house like, head to toe with the Bond experience, I do. No, I don't. All right, let's get right into it. Bond 25. Joe, there's been a ton of rumor going on. What are some of the rumors you've heard in the last few weeks?
What have I heard in the last couple of weeks? Not a lot real recently.
Then you're not on the internet. No. Well, okay. So what about this? First of all, we heard a couple of weeks ago the Norwegian Film Institute said on their website that B25, Bond 25, has been given a huge amount of funding, suggesting considerable chunks of the production will take place there. What happens when this happens is, and we'll do the translation, is the Bond producers get a refund. This is all about taxation and refund of 20%, 25% of the money they spend in Norway, they actually get back. It could be like, 4.2 million pounds, quite frankly. Yeah. And if they do the pre-title sequence, which that seems to be the rumor, they get a lot of money back. What do you think about them filming in Norway?
I love it. I mean, they haven't been there before. It's a great location. I've never been, so it's always cool to see them kind of branch out into new areas. Yeah, so I'm with it.
I'm in.
Yeah.
I by the way, I've already started speculating. Norway, fjords, mountains.
Yeah.
Could there be a climbing scene?
I did have a flash of the Benson book, High Time to Kill.
Oh.
I had a little that sort of flashed in my mind when I heard Norway and I saw some of the photos and I was like, okay, I can see that.
I would love for them also. So here's a little wish list for Bond 25. We want to hear about yours too. We're going to read them off. For Beat 25, I'm not going to call it that, by the way. For Bond 25, I would love them to have Fleming-esque moments. Like if you show Bond, and even Madeline, mountain climbing, it is a very kind of harkens back to the parents without going whack. I'm going to show you family stuff.
Nice, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, okay. And that's something they've been kind of toying with in the last few films?
Well, it's funny. Mark Yannick there says, Daniel Craig on skis finally. Okay, On Her Majesty's Secret Service mixed with Ian Fleming, Daniel Craig on skis. Would you like it?
I would love it. I would really love it. In fact, I was very disappointed in Spectre when I thought that's where they were headed there, and then they kind of took a little side turn.
Yep.
I would love it, and I think, boy, the two of them on skis for their honeymoon phase.
Yes.
That would be nice.
It would be amazing. Now, add to that, I'm going to go one step further because it's who we are. Little NPL did this whole line of ski-inspired vintage clothing. Add in a little cool clothing that kind of harkens back to something fitting like Lazenby wore.
Yeah.
And you've checked off all the boxes. I could stop.
I'm on. Let's hope.
All right. Second thing we heard, Matera, Italy. So Bond producers allegedly have confirmed in Matera, which is in southern Italy. If you haven't seen what this looks like, it's kind of like an outcrop region. It's got really cool city, it looks like some old kind of city. It includes something called the Sassi. I hope I'm not mispronouncing that area. It's a complex of cave dwellings carved into the mountainside. And they're even talking about using a cave hotel there. What do you think of that idea? Italy again.
Interesting.
What do people think about that? What do you think?
Cave hotel. I'm harkening back to the desert hotel from Quantum. This could be interesting. Again, I love the exotic locations. If it's a real location, that's even twice as much.
Some people got a little aggravated when they heard Italy though, because they're like, "Oh my gosh, of all the places in the world, why is Bond keeping going back to Italy?"
I don't mind that Bond might have. Well, first of all, again, Italy is a big place. There's a lot of places you could go to in Italy. But I don't mind when Bond kind of revisits or has sort of some places that he kind of haunts. When he went back to the Bahamas, Score.
Yes.
I like that idea that he's... So I don't have a problem with that at all, really.
I agree. And what people tend to forget is it's not necessarily going to be Bond in Italy. It could be fronting for another place. It could be Cuba.
There you go. That's true, too.
Who knows where they're going to say? I mean, they're not going to do the Quantum of Solace where it's like, Siena, Italy. Talahome, Italy. They're not going to do that anymore. By the way, Kevin Rose out there says, David, I heard Craig's Bond will get into an accident. His face is wrapped, and by the end of the film, bandages are open to reveal Idris Elba as the new James Bond. Oh, Kevin. Oh, you. Within the first 10 minutes? How dare you? Ain't going to happen. Idris has said that as well. The other location, we'll keep on locations, that we heard is Greece. So Greece allegedly is scheduled to host a part of the film. It's has this new facility there. It's the National Library. They're also talking about filming at the Greek National Opera. Could we have Bond in tuxedo at another opera?
Yeah, the Tosca scene.
Timothy Dalton, Tosca.
Nice.
What do you think about Bond at the opera again?
I think it's overdue. I think, again, that would be really nice. And again, I would love it if Bond was actually there to watch the opera.
Yes.
Again, it is, we get so action-driven, we get so plot-driven sometimes that we forget that the world of James Bond is a world of elegance, and those moments where he stops to actually smell the coffee, smell the roses.
Straighten his tie.
Exactly, yeah. Put the tux on because you're at a formal event, not because you're trying to blend in or whatever. I definitely am for that.
So Daniel Garcia says, I think Bond should go back to Cuba. I actually heard that one of these locations is supposed to be fronting as Cuba because of the difficulty of actually filming in Cuba, or maybe because of tax incentives. But what I like about what you're saying is Joe and I have talked about the fact that some of our favorite Bond films are when Bond kind of stays put. Give me 45 minutes of Bond in the same area, exploring it, getting into adventures, not like a 7-minute scene where it's like, well, thank you for the background, and then I'm moving on.
Right. Yeah.
I don't need a triptych anymore.
Exactly. Yeah.
By the way, this is great. Rumor mill is just flying as far as people are concerned. So we have one of the number one rumors that we've heard is the bad guy is going to be Rami Malek or Malek. Malek. Rami?
Really?
So did you see Bohemian Rhapsody?
I did not.
It was phenomenal.
Okay.
And he was really good in it. But they're talking about him as being kind of the number one bad guy. Do you know him at all? Do you know of him?
I know him from Mr. Robot. And if you've never seen that show, it's an excellent show.
I agree.
Yeah, I could definitely see him. What about, didn't I hear Andrew Strong was the guy from Kingsman, wasn't he supposed to be?
Mark Strong, excuse me. Mark Strong was an old rumor that started when his trainer posted something, and now people think that was just a fun little trolling thing.
Oh, okay.
Mark Strong is very good friends with Daniel Craig. I could see it, but that was way back with the other director. I don't know if any of it's changed. What's interesting is you hear things like Emma Stone, you hear things like Dakota Johnson. Dakota Johnson I could actually see. Emma Stone, I feel like she's too well known.
Yeah,
but here's what I've heard. Here we go. More rumor. But this isn't rumor, this first part. Daniel Craig and Rachel Weisz are in London, which means they're probably starting to do table reads. Now, for those that you don't know, table reads are basically when the cast gets together in a room. They read through the script from beginning to end. They read their parts. They work on them. They change them. The writers are there. The producers are there. They see what works, what connects. They get their emotional connection. It helps to flesh out the character, the cadence, etc. And they do that before they go and start shooting on location. If that's the case, they have the cast. Do you think they have the cast in place?
Well, I'd be surprised if they weren't, at least in the home stretch as far as casting goes. I mean, it is getting. I mean, again, it's almost a year from. We have just over a year left. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they have some pretty solid casting at this point. At least,
Well, we know Léa Seydoux.
Yes.
Now, I have a question for you. I want your opinion and everybody else's opinion out there. Mark says, doesn't Malek look a bit too young? Is there something is there such a thing as too young for a villain? I think there used to be. Is there something too young for a Q? I think we understand that. Do you really go older than Craig? Do you go into the 60s and 70s? I think young is actually good because it shows, old men like us trying to get one over on the millennials.
Trying to get our video going.
Oh, that is a forever moment. But here's the thing. With Léa Seydoux, do you think it's an assurance? If they have Madeline come back, they have to have Christoph Waltz. They have to have Blofeld.
No, I don't think so. Because I didn't see a big connection between Léa Seydoux's character and Blofeld.
Right.
Had there been more of a square off, a score to settle, then I'd say, well, you need him back.
Yeah.
I didn't really get a lot of that necessarily. I mean, he did capture her or whatever, but it wasn't as intimate as it was in, say, On Her Majesty's. So yeah, I don't know that you have to. I mean, he could have just been carted off to jail, and that's that. It would be a very lackluster way for that character to go out.
Yeah.
I do sort of feel that Blofeld needs to have his day, as long as that's Blofeld. So I'm kind of lukewarm on it, but if he didn't come back, I wouldn't be crushed either.
You wouldn't be, and I feel the same way. I wouldn't be. I think that he might, but I also wouldn't be crushed if they don't. What I would be crushed if they made Bond into committed Bond with Madeline. They have a relationship. They're cooking. They're cleaning. He goes out the door, and she goes, "Where you going? Where you going? What time are you going to be back?" or whatever. I mean, I told this for so many people. I want Loverboy Bond. I want him ruthless. I want Quantum of Solace Craig.
Yeah.
I want, blood. I want him to be shown when he has a knuckle dusting fight. I want him show like he's like breathing and bloodied and
yeah.
I want that Bond back.
Yes. Yeah, we lost that Inspector for sure. One of the things I always crack up about Inspector is that in Casino and Quantum, every time he had a scrape, he's bloody, he's sweaty, he's whatever. Well, this Inspector, he has a brutal fight with Dave Bautista of all people.
Yeah.
He still looks fine.
He looks fine.
The flower
his
on
knuckles are fine.
Right. I think the flower in his lapel is still there. So yeah, I'm with you. I'm a little on the fence about the idea of seeing Bond in an actual relationship.
All right, tell me about that.
Well, I mean,
get out of my house. No, tell me about that.
Put it this way, I agree with you that if it opens up where the two of them are sitting at the breakfast table and Bond's got his copy of the paper and they're just sort of no. Toying with the idea of seeing Bond at least trying to have a relationship, because again, this is something that Fleming did.
Yeah.
This was something from the novels. There was
but he
sort
fails.
of yes, right. Okay. But there was sort of a. I mean, in the movies, again, the movies are different. Where at the 2-hour mark, the two are going off into the sunset.
Yes.
With the female never to be seen again. So it is kind of a cinematic tradition, and to tinker with that, okay, you are kind of courting some danger there. But Fleming did toy with the idea that there would be moments where at least there would be a reference to the thought that, like the next mission would open up and then would say, are you still dating the one that you were seeing from the other one? Like Tiffany Case in the novel. They stayed together for a while, little while at least.
Right.
By the time the next one came along, it petered out and kind of went its way. But they did sort of, acknowledge it.
Yes.
So if they opened up with something like, and again, we know she's going to be in it.
Right.
So they are going to go this way. So it's just a matter of, will they do it right?
How are they going to handle it?
Yeah. So, like you said, a kind of a honeymoonish ski scene in the beginning, not a problem.
And then he's off to work? Okay.
Possibly. I don't know.
I'm sort of there with you, but we'll have to see. I'm still biting my nails. So Bobby...
I'm trepidatious, believe me.
Bobby Morelli, who good friend of ours, his wife Lee says yes to Blofeld. So she is an enthusiastic Blofeld. By the way, Bobby Morelli and Lee have this amazing Instagram called Match Perfectly. If you haven't subscribed to it, you need to. By the way, hopefully some of our friends are going to be jumping on there. We'd love to give them shout outs. We've got James Bond Radio,
nice.
Who's joining, both rocking a Daniel style cardigan. The Cardigan Boys.
Love it.
So he shows up at the door.
Gift from my girlfriend.
So you got to do that. Hopefully Mary's watching. Is Mary watching right now?
I hope so. She's got a link, and I hope she can. She's not very good with technology.
Don't say that.
Oh, believe me, she'll say, no, he's right. He's right.
Oh, okay. Yes, we're doing the cardigan. It's hard not to. By the way, it is like 32 degrees Fahrenheit. Yeah. No, it's colder.
It cooled down, yeah.
Yeah, so, and we're in the basement. It's not warm, but it's not cold. So these may be coming off, but hopefully for you, they won't be.
I got my buddy, the Yojimbo 6, which I know is my good friend Scott. Do you think the next Bond will have more of the Daddy Didn't Love Me storyline? Well, let's, again, kind of going into what we were just talking about. Let's hope not.
Yeah. And by the way, James Bond Radio just said too much handsome in this broadcast. Clearly, the video's not working. If he's seeing any kind of handsome...
It's the Vaseline on the lens.
Whatsoever.
It works well.
Yes, we're going through 6 filters right now. Sepia, everything.
If I could just get the lose the chin filter, I could.
We'll talk about that soon. Matthew Miner says, hopefully Felix returns. I agree.
Yeah.
Get Jeffrey Wright. He hinted to it.
Yes.
We heard all this great rumor that we haven't heard anything.
Yeah.
Jeffrey Wright back? What do you think?
Wouldn't it have been cool if not only did he reference Jeffrey Wright in the last one, that he just showed up in the doorway, they have a quick conversation, and Bond goes off. I mean, how cool would that have been?
Yes.
Yeah.
And
I'm with that.
Oh my gosh. I've heard Camille, I've heard all this thing. Olga Kryanko, I'm a big fan of hers. I follow her on Instagram. I could take it or leave it. But Jeffrey Wright, I would totally squid out. Bill Bakonik.
What's up, Bill?
Bill Bakonik in the house. Why am I trying? Would rather not see Daniel Craig's Bond in another relationship. Feel Vesper was his love. I agree. I
agree, but I really wish the movies would forget that. I wish the movies would stop talking about Vesper.
You don't want another VHS tape that says Vesper's torture?
Good Lord. Again, I mean, it's so funny. You know, again, they nailed it in Casino. They nailed her character. He said the bitch is dead.
Yeah.
This was supposed to be, now he's Bond. But boy, have they dragged that out.
Martin, Ben Barker says, Martin, that is a good alliteration. Ben Barker, you should be a comic book character. Martin Campbell, best Bond director, should have directed B-25. We would have freaked out. Yeah. We would have loved it.
I think everybody knows my love of Martin Campbell. Again, a man who has rescued the series twice.
Yes.
Give this guy his due.
Could he do Bond 26?
I don't see why not.
Should he do Bond 26? Let's bring him back. They're bringing back Madeline just to probably kill her off at the beginning. Michael Kidd. Is a lot of speculation on that.
Yeah.
A part of me hope that they don't do that because it's too obvious.
Absolutely. I kind of feel like the danger now with Bond 25 is that, you know, again, when Spectre ended, they painted themselves into a corner.
Yes.
You know, and it's almost like the next one almost writes itself, where Blofeld escapes, kills Madeline Swan, Bond goes rogue and goes on a roaring rampage of revenge. So basically, the best thing that Bond 25 can do at this point is to subvert your expectations, to throw you some curveballs and say, we know that this is probably what you're expecting, so we're gonna mix it up a little bit. So again, maybe just this is why, you know, it's like when you say, like, I don't want to see Bond and Madeline in a relationship. I kind of feel like I'd be more leaning towards that only because I'm expecting what I'm expecting.
And Matt Paulson has a really good point. He says, hopefully the writers avoid the obvious. I mean, writers are good, all right? Yeah. So if they avoid the obvious, we'll be good. I got to throw another rumor that we heard just this past week. Hope it's not the case. Mm-hmm. Don't think it's the case that filming has been delayed until mid-April. Has gone from beginning of March when they're supposed to have the press conference and has moved to April. Hope that's not the case.
Yeah, I do
too. Would that frustrate you?
Yeah, I'd like the filmmakers to get a little excited about filming. I'd like to see them chomping at the bit to make the next Bond film.
Yeah, I agree. What about Bond stepping down to train other 00s? I would love 00s. I've told people, if I had one wish of me to be involved in a Bond movie, it would be sitting with a whole bunch of 00s. I've had you mock up a picture like that.
Yeah.
What would you want to be in the Bond 25?
I wouldn't mind an aspect of that, and it's funny because Mission Impossible has sort of gone down that road a little bit. I don't, you know, again, Octopussy, one of my favorite movies.
Yes.
And I like the idea that you have a Bond who's kind of in the autumn of his career.
Yes.
And again, if they treat that right, if they do that correctly, well, yeah, right. He's in the. If they treat it correctly and kind of show that in his performance, give us a Bond girl who's a little more his equal, it can work. So if they want to keep going with Craig and they want to sort of have him adopt a little bit of a trainer role, not as long as that's not front and center plot-wise, but a little aspect of he has somebody under his wing or something, I wouldn't mind that.
I'd be fine. I don't want a short round. I don't want a buddy movie.
Right.
I don't want Lethal Weapon 2. Yeah. I don't want any of that. But look at us. We are just so. You know what, guys? Just go to the freaking theater. They're gonna get your money. Jay says they could have Bond leave Madeline to keep her safe, like the ending. Yeah, I mean that would be a cool moment for Bond to be like, look, anybody around me, you know how you left me at the end of Spectre? I'm gonna leave you at the beginning of Bond 25 because, it would be great in the pre-title sequence. Let's say they're climbing in Norway, and all of a sudden there's something that goes on. They get attacked, and Bond goes, you know what? I can't do this to you. I love you too much.
Yeah.
You got to be safe. I got to send you away. She gets upset, almost like in Mission Impossible Fallout.
I did find out that
Ethan left his wife.
Exactly. It's funny. As you were saying that, I thought, now that makes sense. But then my brain is kind of going 2 or 3 chess moves ahead, saying, okay, now he's going to leave her because he wants to keep her safe, but he's going to end up with another Bond girl by the end of the film to sort of stick with formula. Now, how's that going to sit?
Yeah.
So that, again, I like the...
Someone's got an answer for the formula. Kevin Cook says Madeline just turns up pregnant with a baby, gives us a whole new Bond and related baby wear. Tom Ford baby wear.
There you go.
A onesie for $980.
Totally perfect. Oh my God.
And designer diapers. No more MQ or Moneypenny in the field. Keep them at home where they belong.
Yes.
What do you think?
I'm for that. I kind of feel like there's a real push to try to get them more involved. And again, you know, they're sort of making a similar error. Well, maybe not an error, but they're going into dangerous territory the same way the Star Trek. Did you hear that Star Trek 4 is basically canceled, by the way? There will not be another one.
Yeah.
Because, again, these are actors who were up and coming. Now they're star players.
They're doing Wonder Woman 2.
Yeah, I mean, right. I mean, they're getting some big bank. So now, how can you afford to make more Star Treks?
Yeah.
Bond is sort of kind of falling into a similar trap where you got Ray Fiennes as M, Ben Whishaw is big, Naomi Harris is big. So, I mean, now they have these sort of big name actors. They want to get more, like what they did with Judi Dench.
Right. They're not going to show up for a cameo or a moment.
Yeah, right. Just a couple little, just wave, hi, hello, and
right.
You know,
although, let's take Judi Dench. So Judi Dench in Spectre allowed herself to have a VHS moment.
Yeah.
And she was fine. To me, she's a much bigger actor than all the other auxiliary players. So, you know what? Let your ego drop.
Mm.
And by the way, somebody out there said, and this brings up this whole thing of, Michael says, what do you think about the idea of Bond dying? Instead of Madeline, that could close out the Craig story at the end, and then you move to a new Bond. What do you think of that idea?
I'm not crazy about it.
Me neither. Why?
I'm not crazy about it.
Why?
Again, why would you do that knowing that this... I mean, what would you do for Bond 26? Would you do another reboot, or would you have another... do the codename thing where somebody else steps in and takes the mantle? I don't know. Why would you... Why? I don't really see why you would bother with that. I mean, and it's just a downer. You know, I almost feel like you'd have the Luke Skywalker send off in Last Jedi, which was just awful. You know, lacking any sort of real punch.
And also it sets up the whole idea of James Bond as a code name, or they could pass it along, and that just screws with all the other movies. And why would you do that for one movie? And a bunch of people are saying, I just want Bond 25 to be a separate mission, separate from Spectre, not a continuation.
Yeah, totally. Hannah Miller, forget Spectre. I'm with that. Yeah.
All right. We've got to talk about some of these things that are coming up. I would love to see the plot from Carte Blanche to be adapted for the film. Works nicely with the destroyed MI6 building and the Universal Exports team setting up their own spy firm. Have you seen Carte Blanche? Or have you read Carte Blanche?
Yeah, I have, and I forget the details of it. So
I think all those books were good. I think they were all very good. I can't see them being made into movies. I think the writers are going to be unique enough.
Yeah. Raymond Benson used to do very cinematic stories that I think he purposely did, thinking, you know, this could be a good movie someday.
Yes.
The newer novels, they're better books.
Agreed.
I agree with that, yeah.
Agreed.
They work pretty well as books.
What are some of your folks saying?
Let's see. Bond Armory, what's up? Rag, what's going on? Killing off Bond and then having followed films would lend the James Bond as a code name. Yeah, exactly. Which is why I wouldn't want to see that.
Was
that
Ray saying that?
Yeah, that was right.
By the way, Bond Armory is one of those influencers that we like people to follow them. Ray's on YouTube, on Instagram.
Yeah, the
does
Bond
a lot
Armory
with weaponry.
Yeah, and it's very interesting stuff. And I'm not. I mean, I like going to the range like anybody else. I don't know guns very well. He does a very interesting exploration of the Bond weaponry. Really good stuff. Check out the Bond Armory.
Oh. Elvin out there has a really good point. He says, how about James Bond clone as the villain fighting Bond? Little From Russia with Love moment.
There you go.
What do you think? A Bond clone? Hold on. It was really David Zaritsky the whole time.
Yeah, we're kind of getting into Austin Powers territory there. I don't know if we should...
That woke up Sadie from her nap. Poor Sadie.
Sorry about
that. Let's see what else we got. If Bond 26 is a reboot, should it explore Bond's parents' death? Should we go back in time? If we're going to have a young Bond, is it Bond how he becomes Bond? Is it a younger Bond? I'm seeing the shaking of a head. No.
No, that would be kind of like. Did you see Solo?
The movie, the Han Solo?
Han Solo movie.
Yeah.
Not terrible, but again, it kind of just it's again. Is that a story that needs to be told? I don't know. Put it this way. I like my Raiders of the Lost Ark, where you're introduced to Indiana Jones coming out of the shadows, totally badass. not the Indiana Jones. Let's get his father and talk about old times and how we never talked and whatever. Like I could.
I like that film. I know you don't. But
Yeah.
That's a whole other. That's another webcast.
Yeah. Go.
All right. So last thing with Bond 25, and I want to hear from everybody out there. So hold on to your keyboards for a second. We want to hear them. When Bond 25 ends, allegedly it is Craig's last. We've heard a little bit of rumor that Barbara Broccoli may want him back for another one. We've heard rumor that they're filming them at the same time. But let's say he goes off into the sunset. Who do we want as the next James Bond? Who do you want, Joe?
Put it this way. I think the next Bond is probably somebody who I don't know very well, kind of like Daniel Craig was when they announced him. Just of the names that get kicked around a lot, I'm sort of in the Henry Cavill camp, but I kind of feel like, I mean, again, Fallout, the guns get cocked, boom, boom, like right before he gets into a fight. Oh my God, I love that. I kind of think Henry Cavill works pretty well. Let's put it this way. As somebody who is getting a little fatigued with the whole emotional Bond's past and family stuff, and
you want action oriented.
Well, action and just kind of like, again, not so focused on this deep drama. Cavill, I think, could really be a good return to a popcorn movie kind of a James Bond. Enough realism and enough good action to give us what we want without kind of getting into the pathos of.
What about Aidan Turner?
I don't know that name.
Okay, Aidan Turner is he's Poldark. He looks the part. There's a couple things online. He's younger. I think he's in his early 30s. He looks the part. I've seen him do a couple acting roles. There's also some people are saying the guy from the movie The Bodyguard. Did you see the Bodyguard movie?
No.
You're watching Hereditary, but you're not watching Bodyguard. It's actually a series.
Okay.
He's the guy from Game of Thrones. He played one of the sons.
I feel like I can picture his face, but I can't.
Yeah. Somebody's going to say his name on there. Somebody said cheap cam. Matthew McConaughey. No. But here's one a lot of people tend to throw out is the star of Outlander. There's a series called Outlander that's very, very popular. I'm going to be misogynistic for a second with women. He looks the part of James Bond. He's another young Bond. Jason Statham.
I love me a good Jason Statham. Probably not for Bond though.
Yeah, agreed.
And by the way, is that based on the original movie?
No. It's
the kind of connection I'm trying to make is not going to work.
It's a woman that jumps back and forth in time, and then it's actually called like Infidelity series. It's like like fantasy type thing. It's like romance novel type things. And
gotcha.
Richard Madden. Thank you, Richard Madden. That's who we were thinking about. Michael Fassbender.
Mary Bella says not Aidan Turner.
Not an Aidan Turner. Okay. What about Michael Fassbender? What do we think of him?
He's great, and if we probably hadn't seen him in so many things already, I'd probably say great. But I mean, he's a spectacular actor. But again, I think that our Bond should have a little more mystery. But then again, why am I saying Henry Cavill if I'm going to make the same argument?
So do you think it's going to be a total unknown? Or nearly unknown?
I would say probably an up-and-comer. Almost an unknown, if I had to guess.
By the way, Alan Finlay says if you're talking about Sam Hoogan, he's actually nearly 40. Sam Hoogan, is that the Outlander guy? I don't know. Thoughts on Idris Elba? All right, so Christian, I will give you my thoughts on. First of all, it won't be him, and it has nothing to do with black, white, male, female. It has to do with he's too old. I mean, if they're they're gonna go younger, and it's a joke now with them.
Yeah.
He even said it's not going to happen. So
I got Yojimbo. I really would have liked to see Clive Owen play the role, but he's a bit too old now. I agree 100%. And I've always sort of fantasized about Clive Owen.
Oh.
That didn't sound too good.
It's one of those videos.
I've always imagined Clive Owen would have been fantastic had they done. We've toyed about this like as an HBO series or a Netflix series. If they went back and did the books in the original time period, I think Clive Owen would have been spectacular.
Yes, agreed. And by the way, somebody says John Hamm for the next James Bond.
Interesting.
Can you have an American James Bond? Should you have an American James Bond?
I would like to see him at least do the accent if they really did go that way.
Here's how it would go. Hello, I'm John Hamm. I'm a madman. I don't know. No, he could probably do an accent. I just kind of hope he doesn't. Are you sure Eon will make Bond films after Craig, says Wolfgang. Oh, wow. Whole other comment. Eon, are they selling James Bond?
Are they selling James Bond? I not that I have any knowledge of, not that I would...
Lies, you know everything.
Yeah. Oh. You know, it's funny. Sometimes I say to myself, if I had to take a guess as to what goes on in their minds, I think they have sort of a love-hate relationship with James Bond, where on one hand they love the history and they love the everything about the idea of it, but then it's like, but you know what? I really don't feel like making another Bond movie. I'd rather make some other kind of a movie. And, this is kind of hard, and maybe we should change James Bond to be a little more X or Y. I don't know. I would not be shocked if they did sell. I mean, why not just make Disney in charge of all entertainment everywhere and just sell it to Disney and let them go crazy?
The Mouse House.
And I mean, I would love that. I would really love it if... they have hired like a super fan or a few super fans who really love and understand James Bond and as like consultants to kind of go forth and make new Bond movies. So I don't know, I'm on the fence.
I understand your pain. So I, here's the problem I have with them selling, or the idea of them selling is, I get the whole exhaustion. I mean, my gosh, 5 years. You've got Greg Wilson, who's coming up behind, young guy who can take it over. I would think that even if there is something that goes on with selling a portion of it or taking it public, whatever it is, that there'll be some family connection. And I kind of like that. I like it being a family-oriented thing. I love seeing those old pictures of Albert Broccoli like serving spaghetti with Roger Moore. I hope they don't do that, because there's something very authentic about those moments.
It really is, and I'm with you there. But I don't know who's going to carry the torch after Barbara and Michael decide that they don't want to do it anymore.
Greg Wilson has already started. Is he? Michael's son.
Yeah. I don't know. There's something about handing your business off to your sibling, to your children. And again, this is kind of going to get sort of weird, but I sort of feel like
that's all right.
You're kind of saddling them with, you're hoping they're infused with the same passion you are. But, but this is not their creation, and it might not necessarily be what they've wanted to do with themselves. And there's almost sort of like an unspoken obligation, I suppose. And again, that's why I sort of feel like there's that kind of love-hate right now, where it's like, well, yeah, I love Bond, I love everything that kind of came before. But I kind of want to do other things too. So you almost get a lukewarm sense from them.
Anything's possible. One thing's for sure: we will be the last to know. Everybody will be the last to know. These are things that take sometimes a year to happen. They could have already started conversations, but we'll have to see. I mean, I thought it was incredibly interesting. You've got Universal, who's back, and you also obviously have United Artists Releasing, which, by the way, I love the new name and logo. United Artists Releasing. Have you seen the new logo and everything?
No.
So cool for old men like us. Yeah. It's the old United Artists logo, but it's got a couple of little hints of other foundational things that they have in there. It's fresh, it's new. But just United Artists Releasing, it sounds so cool. Joe, we're going to move subjects. Okay. We're going to move themes because we're a little bit in. People have finished their Mai Tais and Bloody Marys. They're on to the next thing. Let's talk about upcoming events in 2019. So one of the things that Joe and I like is, and maybe it's our favorite thing, I don't want to speak for you, is we love to get together with people from the Bond community, like face to face.
Absolutely.
I mean, what is it about it that we love?
For one thing, well, I'll give you two answers. One is just obviously the obvious that we have a similar passion. Again, we're kind of nerd level when it comes to James Bond, and we love it a lot. So how often in your daily life do you get to sit around and talk about it, or just share ideas about it? But the other thing is, honestly, we've just gotten very, very lucky that a lot of other Bond fanatics that we know and people in the community are just very cool.
Yeah.
And we've made some terrific friends doing it. I mean, great friends.
Yeah.
And, so spending time with them is just so much fun. And ironically, just because you're hanging around with friends, half the time you're not even really talking about James Bond that much, because you're just sort of getting reacquainted with the crew. So every time you meet, it's kind of like a high school reunion, with the people that you really, really liked.
And the crew tends to grow. I mean, one of the things that I've really enjoyed about these face-to-face events is no matter what, and it's unfortunate, some people tend to, I think, categorize. You've got the Bond stylers, you've got the literary Bond people, you've got the movie people, you've got casual fans, you've got diehard fans. You have people say, "Oh, well, they're in the clique, they're in the group, they're in the inner circle."
Yeah.
Bullshit. Everybody loves James Bond, and they've taken it to a new level where their family, their friends, their work raise an arched eyebrow. Like, really, you're taking it to this level? When we're all together, that all goes away. Our appreciation, our connection, our love, our drive, our passion, whatever you want to call it, around James Bond brings it. So there's a commonality there.
Yeah.
What happens is, you absolutely nailed it. What happens is, as you start talking, the commonality of James Bond tends to become background, like this stuff back here.
Sure.
And then suddenly you find out, oh, I like the same food, and oh, you went there with your wife, and
right.
Oh, you're kidding. You've got you do this and you do that, and suddenly you find out, oh crap. This is a person.
Right, yeah. I mean, it's funny. I mean, yeah, again, the initial spark, the initial contact was James Bond. And, oh, you like James Bond too? And you have the kind of, what's your favorite this? Or what'd you think about that? And did you hear about this? Well, now it's kind of grown so far, oh, how's your wife? How's your kids doing? How's this? Oh, I heard you were sick last week. How are you feeling? Like now it's kind of that real life stuff has sort of just taken over.
Yeah.
So seriously, I mean, again, you're together with these people, and it's just kind of getting to know each other again, and how's things, and you just talk about life in general. I mean,
it's so organic.
Yeah.
And so one of the events that I wanted to talk about was Spyscape.
Mm-hmm.
Spyscape is the very first James Bond 007 back in New York.
Yeah.
James Bond exhibition in New York City. It's happening at Spyscape. It's called Driven, 007 Driven.
Yeah.
I wonder if that gives us a clue.
Mm-hmm.
We know they have a DB5, but we have no idea what this is, only that Joe and I are going to be there on March 9th.
Yep.
We have 10 a.m. tickets, March 9th in New York City at Spyscape on the streets. And we're going to walk in, and what do you think we're going to be encountering?
I haven't a clue. I know you've been I know you've been there before.
I've been to Spyscape, yes.
Yeah, before the Bond exhibit.
Yep.
And it looked, I saw your video on it.
Yep.
Looked pretty cool.
Yes.
Looked a lot of fun. So.
But what are they doing with 007?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, in the back of my mind, I say, okay, well, we did, one exhibit shut down not long ago.
Right.
Not far away. So
you
maybe
mean
some of that.
The Washington Museum one.
Right, the Spy Museum in Washington, D.C. So maybe some of that has migrated north, or maybe it's something completely new.
I think it's going to be very different, and I'll tell you why. I think
Okay.
it follows suit with Spyscape. Spyscape is all around immersive experiences, like action.
Yeah.
So they've already hinted that there's a Q lab. They've already hinted of different events like getting away from the bad guys. The ending of Spectre, they said there's some sort of room to that. So I'm wondering if it's going to be a series of rooms where you relive those moments surrounded
Ooh, I like that.
by
like
different
that.
artifacts, whether they're screen used, real, or screen accurate.
Okay.
But we don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't think there's any press event around this.
Yeah.
So Joe and I saw March 8th, which is a Friday. They start. March 9th, we were like, let's get all our buddies together.
Right.
We are people flying in from all around.
Yeah.
We have people taking trains and planes and automobiles.
Right.
I've lost count with how many people are coming.
Yeah. It's pretty. I mean, I've actually we've been talking with people, and I'm losing track of who's going, who's not. So I mean, it's going to be a lot of fun. It is going to be nice and big. And again, like you said, it's nice. Finally, we got something in New York.
Yes,
because we haven't really had any kind of Bond thing in New York that I can remember.
I can't remember. And we want to extend it out because, listen, we don't know if this is going to be a 10-minute tour, if it's going to be an hour tour, 20 minutes, who knows. But one of the things we said is if you've got all this Bond community together in one place, let's do something about it. So what we wanted to do was, and we'll do it again here, right in this live stream, is if you want to come out and say hello to us and, maybe, I don't know, grab a drink or a bite somewhere, let's get together. We're not planning anything in particular.
Right.
We're not planning to walk around New York City or anything, but come on out. Maybe we'll find a place to all crash together. You have the opportunity. Let's think about some of the people that are coming. We have John Broughton of
yes,
he does the
Bespoke.
JB Bespoke.
Yeah.
Kerchiefs.
Yeah, very cool guy. Very nice
cool guy. He'll be there. We've got Ray from the Bond Armory.
Yes, sir.
He's going to be there.
Yeah.
He's always a great conversationalist.
Ray's a great guy. Love Ray. We got what's Ray wearing?
What's Ray wearing? Which doesn't have anything to do with James Bond, but he's a great guy. We've got Harris. We've got Jeff Weibo. I heard is coming down. So Jeff Weibo is James Bond Canada. James Bond Canada is with Murray Gillespie. They are two great guys. Jeff is the kind of roving reporter of that. He has our youngest fan is his daughter, Sadie.
Oh, right. Nice.
She's a young one, but we have Jeff Weibo there.
Jeff Weibo is an entrepreneur, by the way. Does really interesting videos. You should definitely check out his YouTube channel.
He's good.
Really good stuff.
Who else are we forgetting that said? I know there's a bunch.
I'm not. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I lose track. I know Psylocke is coming. I know there's
Joe Psylocke. Yeah.
I don't know who else is coming. Our friend Michael Poplowski is going to be there.
Yeah. We got a bunch of people. But anyway, come out on March 9th. If you go to obviously Spyscape, you can get your tickets there. We're at the 10 o'clock, but I think there's still some available for 9:45 or 10:15.
Paul Scrabo, I heard a rumor that you're going, so I'm looking forward to seeing you.
Paul Scrabo, yeah. Jay Sadowski, I think, is going to be there as well. We've got a couple people on here that are coming out. A couple friends from New York as well. So we'll see that. By the way, I heard rumor that the trombonist, Michael Bublé's trombonist, which we need Michael Bublé to do a Bond song, will be there as well.
Nice.
We'll see. We'll see if he shows up. Not that he's going to play for us, but that's a great event. Let's kind of go in order, and we're still doing official ones. Secret Cinema, my friend, the thing in London.
Tell me about it.
That Casino Royale, Secret Cinema does Casino Royale. We've spoken to some of the people that are putting this on. It is supposed to be amazing. This is a group of theatrical individuals, showwomen too, that put on these livable, immersive, experiential ventures into movies. And they chose Casino Royale this year.
Nice.
Tickets have been selling like crazy, and many of the dates they've been sold out. But in essence, what you do is in an undisclosed, let me lower my voice, in an undisclosed location, you get a particular character that you're supposed to dress as them, and you enter the world of James Bond.
Nice.
Now, they say Casino Royale, but it could be from other Daniel Craig films. It could be Madagascar. You could be traveling to cricket matches. You could be going to Miami, the one and only club. But it takes you through hours of music, the film. You're drinking, you're eating. You can get deluxe tickets where you get all swag. I don't know. I'm super excited because they worked with Eon and their designers to create
You're making me jealous.
A moment that you can't forget. Yeah, that's the thing. It's in London.
Yeah.
So you got to get yourself to London. The Bond experience will be there in July. We'll hopefully be able to film about it. But we're not going to be able to walk through with it because there's tons of secrecy. You have to surrender your phone. Before you go in there. But what have you heard about Secret Cinema?
Honestly, not much. I don't know much about it at all. In fact, I've heard the buzz, but I haven't really. I don't know too much about what it actually is. Now that I'm hearing that point,
yeah, I think we'll get more and more information as it gets closer. Yeah. But for those of you that can't jump into London or get to London, we've got to fall back on other things like obviously Spyscape and the occasional visit with the community, etc. Yeah. And it brings up another point that I wanted to talk about. And obviously, Joe, you're going to be at this one. I want to get your point of view on what you feel about it. Allegedly, we're still vacillating with the date. On May 15th, we're having our own little shindig in New York City. So
Okay.
there's going to be at least 2 events in New York City, but it's the walking tour of New York City.
Nice.
It's Bond brand tour of New York City.
Mm-hmm.
There's been a lot of preheating of working with the different brands like Turnbull and Asser,
Mm-hmm.
and you know, you name it. Billy Reed. You've got Sunspell. You've got Peel. You've got Oliver Brown. They're all in it to create these moments that people will visit the brands. They'll have some alcohol, some food, and they'll get to experience all the brand from their point of view.
Nice.
But it'll all have that Bond connection. It's going to all happen in one day. We can only have a certain amount of people, so we're going to be live streaming.
Mm-hmm.
People are going to have, like, you know, crazy cameras all over them. But
Nice.
what do you think about doing something like this?
We've been talking about that for a while. You've been talking about that for a while, so I am definitely excited to see that come to fruition. Especially for all of us Bond clothing wannabes. You know, this is going to be a great way to really get in and get to know the clothing, the brands, and the people. I mean, yeah. And again, just another excuse to get together. Always a hit. Exactly.
And one of the things we're trying to do from a venue standpoint is there's a place called the Cutting Room Floor that has a great Bond show. It's a little bit of a burlesque show. It's called Shaken Not Stirred. We're trying to have the evening's dinner there. And because we're going to be having a small group, and we can only have a small group walk around the city, we're hoping to open that up to anybody that wants to get there. So
Nice.
it'll be a whole evening where it goes from a small group to a bigger group that we can just have fun, listen to music, and get together. And by the way, let's pause for a moment. Nobody owns doing this. I mean, the fact that we're motivated to do this is because we get bored easily. But I'm hoping to see more of this from other people around the globe. Have you heard of these types of things or people doing them?
Yeah. I mean, I definitely know, and you do too. A lot of people who do Bond events and gatherings, different kinds of different events and gatherings, and honestly, it's if money was no object, I don't think I'd be saying no to any of them. But
if you could get your ass to Tokyo and different places, you'd be doing it all. Yeah.
So once I hit the lottery, or once after I make my purchase of Palmyra and we all have a party there, then. But yeah, no, and they're all great. I know some terrific ones. I don't know if I want to put anybody on the spot, but they really do some great events, great trips, and again, just great people.
And we got to see which ones pop up, because I know for a fact, I just don't know when or how or what, I don't know if anybody does, that a lot of these brands that are going to be associated with Bond 25 or associated with Bond in general, like we've seen, the offering from Oliver Brown around their Bond 25 shorts, Bond 25 shorts, their 007 shorts.
Yeah.
People are going to be starting to do events. These brands are going to do events. What I'm hoping that these brands do is they do them globally. So they have a U.S. one. They have a European one. They have, a Tokyo one. They have ones where people can kind of connect, because it's not just about the brand getting the word out. It's about the community driving the message of Bond. Mm-hmm. And that would save on your flight as well. David, do you know when the Secret Cinema portal will open? It's open. If you mean buying tickets, Matt, you can buy tickets right now. Some people already have many people have their tickets. Some dates have sold out. I think a lot of the weekends have. My suggestion, if you're a Bond fan and you're listening to this on Saturday, you're a big Bond fan, is to get the deluxe ticket, because the deluxe ticket gives you tons of swag. You get a guide, you get special food, special drink. I think it's just a better experience, and it's not that much more.
Nice.
So try to do it when you get. I have one little thing to talk about from an event standpoint too, and I hope I get my information right. So our friends to the north, and I don't mean my wife upstairs. My friends to the north, your friends to the north, James Bond Canada, they're having a get-together. They are having, and gosh, folks, do this more.
Yeah.
I mean, live streams are great, but getting together face-to-face. So on February 16th, James Bond Canada is hosting a gathering in their neck of the woods. You want to go to James Bond Canada on Instagram or on their Facebook to see the details of where they're going to have it. Maybe Jeff Wybo can come on here and post where it's going to be. But guys, if you're within driving distance, get there. You get to meet Jeff and you get to meet other people. But I'm telling you, correct me if I'm wrong, the people you meet at these things, I mean, Joe and I have met through parties at my place. I've met some of my best friends. You become such good friends, so close and connected. I mean, we've gone on vacations together. We have fake feuds together. You get these lasting relationships.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I kind of feel like I almost don't even want to say it too much because it starts to sound like hyperbole or like a selling point. But it's so not that. I mean, it honestly. It's hard for a grown up. They always say like once you're out of like high school and college, it's hard to make new friends. You usually sort of have like coworkers that you get chummy with. And that's kind of it. Bond is a great way to really make genuine new friends, just by accident because you meet again. You start out with sort of that like-minded. The thing you have in common, but again, the actual friendship blossoms from there.
Jeff Wybo, it is at the Ballroom, 145 John Street, Toronto, Ontario. There it is, 2 p.m. on the 16th. Awesome. There's your information right there in black and white. Go try to get there.
Awesome.
And you're forgiven if you're in Switzerland and you can't get there because that's a long way to go to have a drink with somebody. But what's great about it is. Two things. First of all, one thing we haven't mentioned is a lot of people will see us on these videos or live streams. I think you also realize that when you meet people, they're not that different than what you experience online. Like I'm not acting, you're not acting. Like this is what you get, whether you like it or not. So going out to meet Jeff Wybo, you've seen him on a lot of the social media. The guy is what he is. He's as nice online as he is offline, and you'll discover that. The Bond community from, we tend to call them influencers. So you'll have to excuse me. I'm not trying to create a caste system of Bond fans when I say Bond influencers. But in reality, there are brands out there, Bond brands and beyond. I would say even, obviously, production and distributors that understand that influencer marketing. Yeah. Using people like us to give a message that's a little bit more authentic because, we're not on their payroll, for example, is a little bit more authentic. So I
wouldn't mind being on their payroll, but just...
There you go. Well, there's a job offer right there. But the reality is that it comes across as very authentic. The reality is everybody's an influencer. I mean, so Elvin, Matt, Riyadh, Wolfgang, I could read all these people. You're all influencers. You don't need to have 3 million unique views on YouTube to be an influencer. In fact, I wouldn't be deemed a Bond influencer if it wasn't for them. So earlier this week, when we had hit 3 million unique views on the Bond Experience YouTube channel.
Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you so much. I did get the flowers in the edible arrangement. It was horrible. I thanked everybody. I said, you, because it really is made up of individuals, of influencers. And I think you've had a great time connecting with people through your influencer marketing.
Oh, sure. Absolutely. It's, like I said, I mean, it's the best part of the whole thing.
It is. Yeah. And one thing I wanted to get your opinion on this. Okay. So thankfully there isn't a lot. There are so many influencers out there that I love. There are maybe one or two where I'm like, I mean, there's no one I really dislike, but there's a couple like, and we're going to talk about them, not by name, in a second. But let's talk about some of the influencers that we look up to, that we love.
Oh, my God.
I'll start with the first one, James Bond Radio, Tom and Chris. Yeah. Tom and Chris, I think, are growing by leaps and bounds in the influencer marketing capacity. Two guys. Their chemistry is amazing. They're just, they have great content. I listen to them on their commute. If you're not signed up for James Bond Radio, you need to. Yeah. But they're authentic and they're nice and they're funny.
Yes.
You a fan of them?
Yeah, absolutely. You hit it on the head when you said authentic because I love. Again, they do long episodes too. I mean, they'll do like I'll pop on their video and it'll be 2 or 3 hours. So it's great just to sort of, have it on playing as you're sort of straightening the house or doing whatever you're doing. And it really, because they know Bond so well, And again, they're not just there to say, "Oh, this movie's great. Oh, this movie's even greater, and this one's great too." No, I mean they'll tell you like, you know, like, "Oh, this was good. This was a little wonky. This was good." So you kind of feel like you're just sort of hanging around with a couple buddies.
Yes.
You know, who are just talking
They're not
Bond
filtered.
like you do. Not
They
at all.
swear. They talk about Loverboy Bond.
Yeah. So I mean, right? They're very authentic. So I love just listening to them all the time. And again, like it's just like inviting friends over just to have a Bond conversation. You know,
Who else do you like from the influencer community?
I don't. You know, there's a couple of guys. One of the guys I've been watching on YouTube forever is Calvin Dyson. I really like his videos.
Yes.
He's been doing,
He's
and again,
great.
young, real. I mean, he's been doing. I think he still had pimples on his face when he first started doing. He still had spots when he first started doing his videos.
Yeah.
So I've been watching them forever. He's
Yeah.
like one of the first ones I remember.
Calvin is so. Here's what I love about Calvin. Calvin, again, funny. You know, he goes on with the white shirt and the bow tie.
Yeah.
He's very animated. He's interesting to watch. I wound up watching, and I never do this. I wound up watching a video game review that he did for 45 minutes in the morning over coffee. I never do this because he was so entertaining and so funny. High production value, but his quips, and again, he's not one of these people that are like, "Oh, I better be careful," because you know who knows who's watching from the production company. He just tells it like it is, and I'm a huge fan of his YouTube channel.
Oh, totally. Yeah, I think I saw the same one you saw because there was one game that he just skewered, and it was really funny watching it. And he's totally authentic. He'll tell you what's great. He'll tell you what's terrible. You know, so he's one of the earliest ones I can remember doing great Bond reviews.
You know who else is good from a podcast standpoint, and I subscribe, is James Bond Complex. These are two guys in Canada, amazing accents. You know, one of them sounds like a bad guy, which I love, and just big hearts. But they're also about connecting with the community too. They reach out to other influencers, but again, they're two guys that each have very individual personalities, and they don't sit there and just agree with each other.
Yeah,
I can't stand podcasts where like, and like, and and it's like, no, they have their own mind.
There's certain YouTubers that I've watched for many years, and again, it's usually the ones who are about movies and movie news and reviews. And it's heartbreaking when you watch them. You know that a lot of them have been approached by bigger companies to be, to promote, and you watch how their reviews will slowly start to become, oh yeah, this is great. I like this. This is a good movie. Yeah, this is really good. That authenticness fades away. Yeah, and that's heartbreaking. Thankfully, I think most of the Bond people that I can't think of any that don't have that sense of authenticity. Excuse me. So it's so good to keep it real because I mean at the end of the day, we love James Bond. Even the ones that we love to hate are the ones that are just so bad that they're good. I mean, we love them all. It's kind of like your weird family member who as crazy as they might be, we still love them. That's true. So there's no point. You don't really have to butter anyone up, or you don't have to pretend it's great when everyone sort of knows it's not. Yeah. So again, I love that sense of authenticity is perfect.
And I think there are influencers too that evolve. I love seeing them kind of start out in kind of a simple platform. By the way, there are so many, Morton, people like that out there, too many to even name, who do wonderful websites that have great content and great write-ups on events and things like that. But there's something about audio and visual. When somebody does something on YouTube or a podcast that takes it to an entirely different channel. And by the way, it is not a purposeful segue. He didn't know I was going to do this. But you've evolved. I think you've evolved. I mean, you kind of, there was this and still is this. And eventually we'll get volume 2. Allegedly, but then you went into podcasts, and then you're doing a lot more videos now. What's driving your want to do more videos?
Well, somebody I know is killing it doing videos and getting 10 times as many views.
Calvin Dyson. No, it isn't. That
son of a bitch. What's his name again? David Zawitsky? I forgot. Anyway, I've been watching people do. I'm sort of a YouTube addict myself, and that kind of really sort of inspired me to sort of take the leap and kind of get more into doing video. Podcasting is wonderful. I absolutely love it, and I will always continue with it, even even as I almost sort of blur the line sometimes between doing videos and podcasts, because most of the content that I do as a video will translate over as a companion podcast as well. But yeah, there is something to be said about doing videos and really kind of getting yourself out there, because again, it has so much more to do with community.
Yes.
You know, and it's fun when you could be at a Bond event and you'll see somebody kind of scan the room and kind of go, hey, wait a second, I know you. And then it's like you're friends before you've even met.
You've connected. Like, for example, one of the people that I cannot believe I forgot to mention him, that's going to be at the March 9th event with us is going to be Matt Spazer.
Yeah.
You know, the Suits of James Bond. And he also does a podcast with Pete called From Tailors with Love. Oh my gosh. And by the way, you got to go From Tailors with Love.
Yes.
They keep it like around 18 to 20 minutes. It's quick. It's not 5 hours.
Yeah.
It's these quick hits about, you know, haberdashery and all things Bond. But again, they've evolved. He started out with just articles, then he's moved to podcasts. He's done it now. He's doing a couple of videos. Then he's going to be doing like showing up at live events. I love the evolution of that. By the way, post who else you like from an influencer standpoint. The Dutch Bond fan YouTube channel. Please list them all because we want to give them all shout outs.
My brother Mike. What's up, Mike?
Who's Mike?
My brother.
Oh, literally, your brother Mike. Your
What's
family
up,
watches you?
Seriously, right? Don't tell anybody I'm here.
Yeah.
Tom Waldeck, what's up, buddy?
Oh, people are asking for Volume 2.
Oh, it's coming. Believe me, it's coming.
When is Volume 2 coming?
It is.
Can you give us an actual date?
It will be in conjunction. It will not be later than Bond 25. Put it that way. It is.
That's a year from now.
I know, but it's.
Is it a bear to do? Is it hard?
It is.
I thought you just take your podcasts and just transfer them. No.
Kind of, sort of, but different.
By the way, Scott says, any way you two can do some Bond commentaries. We have already. We've started a series, and Live and Let Die comes next, of this theory around James Bond actors and their best movies being their first ones, that theory plays out. We may be getting into another version of that theory, just a little bit harsher and different.
Yes.
Should we give people a sneak peek?
Should we? Well, this was a lot of fun to kind of get into, and like David has, mentioned, when we were talking during our trek down to Washington D.C., I had sort of mentioned that, my favorites tend to be the first films, because again, it's sort of when the filmmakers say we need to get back down to basics and show people what a Bond movie is.
Yeah.
So more in your later films and your later actors, they kind of do this. Well, there's other theories too. One of the theories is that the last films that the actors do.
Yes.
I don't think any of them have really left on a high note. Maybe Daniel Craig can change that.
Yeah.
But for the most part,
could be redemption there.
Yeah. For the most part, the last one is usually, we need to kind of rethink things going forward. So I think that's going to be something we're going to explore. We
are going to explore that. That's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So the other thing that I promised in this, in talking about influencers, is cool, and anybody could be cool, and creepy. So, the one thing I do love about all the influencers, and I follow a lot of them on Instagram, is not so much how many followers they have, but the authenticity. I love original content. There is a YouTube channel. Oh, I'm blanking on it. Something Gentleman. I'll get it towards the end. But basically, he does all original content. He'll take pictures of things that he encounters out there. I love that so much. Then, no offense to people, but another shot of like Skyfall, and another thing. But more than that, I love when it's authentic. There are a few individuals that have purchase lists. Now, this is a thing. You may learn something today. Whether it's YouTube or Instagram or really any social media channel, there are companies out there where you can purchase lists. And what they tend to do, here comes the creepy part, is they'll take somebody like me and they'll find all the people that are following me. Like even like my mom or, my kids. And whoever's following me on different social media channels, and they'll capture them and they'll send things out to port those people over to this other individual's Instagram. It's called buying followers. So there's a couple ways to buy followers. I'm sure some people have done this, and it's fine if you have. You'll like a bunch of people in hopes that they'll be reciprocally following you. Okay, and then you delete them, which is terrible. The other way is these companies will go out there and optimize and actually get these followers for you. So if you've seen somebody jump from like 1,000 followers to like 10,000 within 2 weeks, chances are there was a little bit of Mickey Mousing there.
Yeah,
Mickey Mouse. This I think is creepy. When I see some Bond influencers and they're following my mom. And I know that some of the people, even from the production, they notice that these people are following their family members. It creeps them out.
Yeah, two weird things popped into my head as you were saying that. I have people all the time, not all the time, but once in a while, my girlfriend Mary will say to me, "Who is so and so?" I'm like, "Oh, I think I recognize that name." Oh, because he keeps messaging me on Facebook. 9 times out of 10, it's pretty harmless. The other thing that popped into my head too is, do they automatically, will I find myself following people on Instagram that I didn't actually select?
No, I don't think they can do that. I think there's a way for them to optimize. I don't know all the details.
Okay.
And they also call, like if someone sponsors themselves, they create something called a tail, which means if you've left that Instagram, it'll follow you for the next 5 or 6 websites. I don't know.
Okay.
I used to be well read on it.
Yeah.
My agency has individuals that work for me that they make a study of this, because part of marketing is looking at these types of things, and analytically you can follow these things. Okay. And what people don't realize is making troll accounts. Like you actually had one troll account go on your Instagram Live with Ray. You can trace somebody's IP address nowadays and follow them and go, oh gosh, this person did a troll account to yell at me or do whatever they do. So that can get a little creepy. I'm hoping the creepiness whittles away and people just have fun. It doesn't matter, I follow people, and I'm not exaggerating, that have 50 followers. And I follow people that have 50,000 followers. I don't look at that. We're not 15 years old.
Yeah, totally. I totally agree. By the way, one shout out, I believe it's called the Intrepid 007 podcast. I think that's kind of an up and comer.
Oh, I never heard of that.
I've been watching. Yeah, he's only got 2 episodes out so far, but so far so good.
What's it about?
It's kind of early on, so it's kind of like the first, the first
introduction
to James Bond.
Okay,
but with a lot of connection to real life spying.
Yeah.
This was based on something that happened in World War II, yada yada. So it's so far it's pretty interesting.
And by the way, the one you hit on something that's really important. The one secret to me liking someone on their social media is consistency. Yeah. I love podcasts that come out every week, maybe maximum 2 weeks. Yeah. When one comes out every quarter, I'm like, oh. And we've always talked about consistency and doing that, and it's not that hard to do these things. But even like Instagrammers, post a picture or think about what you want to do online every single day. And you're gonna win me over.
I've actually this is a lesson I have kind of slowly adopted. It's funny. One of the things I'm working on right now is it's a video on how to do a podcast. Because again, a lot of the people that I know, kind of right in line with what we're talking about, that are getting more involved in reaching out and doing either YouTube videos or podcasts or whatever. So I've kind of started a 3-part series. The first one being how to podcast, which has gotten unruly. It is kind of like a soup to nuts, everything you probably need to know. But part of that is, one of the things I mentioned while I'm doing that is how when I first started doing podcasts, I did these mega podcasts, like an hour-long topic. And at the time I said, this is going to be once a week. And then it was like, that was not... So you have to be realistic in what you kind of do. But I now am trying to fill out my calendar fairly regularly with stuff.
Which is everything.
Yeah.
Even if you look at the camera and do a confessional.
Yeah. I kind of started doing like the commentaries whenever there'd be like a little glimmer of Bond news. That's fun. A little quick down and dirty, whatever. more live streams like this. So yeah, that is very important to be consistent.
And these live streams are great because really it's just us chatting. Like we would get together. You know, Joe came in the door before we signed in. We gave each other a hug. We used the facilities. We poured ourselves some water, and we were off. I mean, this is like us catching up too. We'll have nothing to talk about for the whole day. Yes, we will. Great conversation, but I am going to do like this horribly jarring segue because there is something else that you're doing that I want to talk about today because I think a lot of people out there are doing that. And by the way, somebody says, David, have you driven your Aston Martin lately? No, it's the winter. It's gone Betty by. I start it up like every 2 weeks. But it's this whole idea of James Bond and getting fit. And there's something that's happened. We did a nutrition video to show the difference between the literary Bond and what Daniel Craig has to do to get into shape. And we talked about the right things to eat. And we set up a hashtag Bond25 Fitness Challenge. Yeah. Go check it out. And suddenly people started posting pictures with the hashtag of what they've been eating for lunch. Yeah. But a really good friend of mine named Joe Darlington really raised who's that guy? Both hands around this Bond 25 Fitness Challenge. Tell me what's been going on and why.
Yeah, well, the why is I have about 25 whys that I'm trying to shed. One of the things I love is that the Bond 25 challenge to me is kind of twofold because Bond 25 is coming up and I'm trying to shed 25 pounds. We've talked before. But it's funny because a few years ago I was weighing in 195-ish.
Okay.
And
how tall are you?
6 even.
Okay. Yeah.
And 200 was always kind of my red zone.
Yeah.
And once I was hitting 200, like all right, time to do some more, time to drop a couple. I swear to you, I don't know when it was or what. But there was one day when I went to the doctor for like a physical or whatever, and I got on that scale, and I literally said to her, I said, no. This thing is broken. Because I weighed in at like 220. Oh! I literally went, yeah, seriously.
It's like Marlon Brando.
Oh, my goodness. I went again, and I was like, I could not have gone from 200 to 220. I mean, that's 20 pounds in a couple of months, and I don't know kind of what happened. Other than I had spent a lot of time, eating healthy, eating moderately and working out regularly and reading a lot of books to kind of rediscovering the remote and rediscovering, comfort food.
Yeah.
And kind of just, not even, I mean, you would think I was on a mission to put on that much weight that fast, but it really just kind of, like, you just let it get away from you for a while, and all of a sudden it's like, holy cow. So yeah, holy cow is the mission on to get back to normal, and like I said, when you talk about Bond traveling, I'm gonna kind of channel my inner Paul Curiosity. When you do the Bond traveling and you do the Bond activities, you don't want to do it, feeling like a slug. You want to do it feeling right, and not worrying about, oh, the guy's got a camera. Let me hang on. Sucking the gut a little bit. So you want to do it right. So that's the goal.
Let me tell you why I started with the why. To me, the why is more important than the how or the what, because I have an upcoming vlog that'll be here in a week or two around getting the James Bond body while you're still on vacation. The whole idea of, people say on vacation, oh, I'm on vacation, I'm not going to work out, and I'm going to eat whatever I damn please. And there's a middle line there, because I think the inspiration of why you stay healthy and focus on nutrition and fitness is so important, because if you go on a diet or you join a gym, it's an event. It's a moment in time.
Yeah.
I think health and wellness is about consistency, just like the podcast is about consistency, the content, because you need a strong reason, and it can't be, I want to look good for Mary, I want to look good for Danielle or your spouse. It's got to be bigger than that. James Bond, if we truly are going to emulate the character and think he's very capable and wear shawl cardigans and do these things and live the Bond lifestyle, this is what happened when I was in my early 40s. I said to myself, why wouldn't I go that added distance? Yeah. Even though, Craig teases about it, or James Bond teases about it, inspector, I work out when I need to. Daniel Craig right now, he's skipping the pasta, he's skipping the Alfredo,
yeah.
He's working out twice a day with Simon Waterson. Why wouldn't we all do that? So I've noticed that along this journey, others, which I love, have picked this up and said, I've always wanted to get into shape. Now I've got an entire community that's going to support me. Now, Joe sends me pictures of his lunch.
This is true.
And dinner.
And breakfast.
And breakfast. And we talk about it. And I go, are there sugars on there? Is there protein? Are there carbs?
Yeah, and I've been really loving doing that because it's not even about, I don't know what the word I'm looking for is, but it kind of keeps me honest, Yes. And I'll tell them straight out. I said, somebody brought bagels to work today.
I cheated.
I had a little cheat moment.
Yep.
This or that, or I put too much sauce or something or other on, whatever. And so I'm like, here you go. Here's what I had. So, but yeah, I like having that. What's the word I'm looking for?
The motivation,
passion, the accountability.
Accountability, yes. Oh, yes. Accountability is huge. And by the way, this is another challenge we'll put out there. I've turned into like a sponsor, if you will, for Joe with health and fitness, and I think it's vice versa. Get one. Get somebody that you can do this with. I've done this with a couple of friends where you can send them, your food and spur them on. You just joined Planet Fitness?
I did, yeah. It's and again, it's funny because it's not the first time I've joined the Planet Fitness in my town. It really is kind of the only gym around. So, but I literally went in there a few months ago and canceled. And, I said, well, I haven't been going. Why am I paying for it? So I walked in and I canceled. Of course, the girl behind the counter, she's okay, no problem. She takes my information. Then she says, she goes, so can I put down why you're canceling? And I just went, laziness? And she laughed, but I'm like, that you can't get more honest than that.
That's super, super honest.
Yeah.
But I think it's all about, first of all, whether you're hashtagging it or sharing lunch visuals or anything, it's about knowing that we're all flocking together on this. I mean, this is truly a lot of birds turning in the same direction.
Yeah.
And then using a particular date. So we've got, the launch of Bond 25 as that's my journey end. How far can I evolve, transform, improve myself? And this is about self-respect between now and then. Yeah. And then how am I going to do that? Yes. So sponsor, what you're doing, what you're eating, those are all huge. Yeah. But then what is everybody else doing?
Yeah.
A couple of people said they've lost like 9 pounds on the Bond 25 motivation.
Yeah. I got the Bond Armory. I lost 2 pounds this week. Way to go.
Adam Thomas, Adam Thomas eats about I love this, 1.5 grams of protein per pound of body weight. Eat clean and work out. I've heard that's that Hugh Jackman diet where you have a gram of protein per body weight.
You've got me on the protein bandwagon. I like that.
Protein. And by the way, we're going to have upcoming vlogs are not just going to have about isometrics and working out. It's going to be about fitness anywhere.
Yeah.
This whole idea that you can join a gym and need to join a gym takes a back seat when you know that you're sitting at a desk all day. So what do you do at that desk to have those little moments?
Yeah. I got Richie Walker 220, try 330. Haha, but I'm 6'4". Okay, well you know you're where you should be. David Dixon, 6 foot. I'm averaging 185. Boy, am I jealous. 200 pounds is my panic zone. I freaked out once when I hit 193. Yeah, I hear that.
Panic zone.
I remember those days when I used to panic at 193.
That could do that. Question on here. I may have mentioned this before, but I do P90X3. So what that is it's 7 days a week, 35 minutes a day. In between the more harsh ones that I do, which is a lot of pull-ups and push-ups and lifting, is I will do something called isometrics. That happens like 2 to 3 days a week. It's 35 minutes of balancing, like holding myself on yoga poses and balancing and one leg's up, and it works all the parts of the body. But the amount of lip sweat that I have after that is unbelievable. But I've told this to you before too. When I do a really aggressive lift workout, I will hit protein within 15 minutes after that. So I use that kefir drink.
Nice, yeah.
And it hits 40 grams of protein, like boom, right away.
Gotcha.
You upping your protein?
I am, yeah. And that's interesting too, because it was one of the things that, again, I have the mindset of shedding weight, so I'm thinking to myself, well, let me up the veggies and down the meats. and you were the one who said work on your protein, and I did notice. I mean, once I took that into account, and I feel a little more energetic, with it. So I concur. I think the protein was important.
It's important, and the vegetables to keep it raw fridge, and we'll have some follow-ups on that. So obviously, this has been about connecting with everybody. We're nearly on, believe it or not, an hour and a half.
I was
covered Bond 25, covered events, covered fitness, covered influencers. We're going to leave this last part kind of for you and I a little bit about kind of what we're hoping to do and something different. Sure. I've got a short-term thing I do want to talk about. So tomorrow, Joe didn't know this. This is like for your ears only, earmuffs. We're starting a contest. So we've got a kind of fun contest where, you'll see what the prize is tomorrow, but I think everybody will really like it. Hope you like it. The contest is easy. It will be on Instagram. Cool. So we're going to make it simple. It'll be launched by a video. You'll see what the contest is, and then you'll swipe left, and you'll see how do you win. It'll go for a couple days, and maybe you can win some interesting swag. So we want to do more of these, kind of connect with the community, give something back, and then hoping within the next few weeks, we'll be able to have some interesting announcements about more events, more Bond connection. Maybe we'll start to see some things, Bond 25 related. We're going to share all that news with you, but we will be about consistency. What I've dedicated myself up into Bond 25 and beyond, you're hearing it here, is a minimum of one vlog a week. Minimum.
Nice. Okay.
And daily posts on Instagram and Facebook.
Wow.
Minimum. Okay. So those are my minimum connections. By the way, people go, do you work for a living? Yes, I'm a CEO of a company. I'm busy. I don't sleep that much, like Gustav Graves. I sleep, 4 to 5 hours. In addition to that, I tend to film and do a lot of my stuff all at once. So I'll film 5 vlogs at a time.
Yeah.
I'll edit them on a Sunday morning before anybody gets up, and then I'll put them in my queue, and they'll just launch.
Nice.
So I use technology pretty well to do my duty. What about for being James Bond?
Being James Bond, what's coming up? Well, in addition to the videos that I am here to shoot with my good friend David with the Bond Experience, these film commentaries, which are fun. My good buddy Scott and I are, one of the things I've always heard is that we love your initial reviews you guys did way back in the day. So basically, as a countdown to Bond 25, we're going to review all 24 films, and they are going to be spaced out every 2 weeks, literally between now and the last one will be 2 weeks before the release of Bond 25.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Nice.
A couple other things. I have some travel videos I'm working on. As I mentioned, I'm doing a 3-part series right now. It's podcasting, video, and graphics.
Oh.
So basically, for anybody who's interested in podcasting or audio or video, and and it's basically simple ways to just punch up your video with some graphics or whatever. And what else I got going on? Like I said, I got trips coming up, so there will be travel vlogs from that.
Where can you mention where you're traveling to?
Yes, I can. One trip to Las Vegas.
Viva Las Vegas!
Which should be fun because the people I'm going with are very knowledgeable about the Bond locations there, and I have another one coming up in the late spring, which I'm wildly excited about. Going to Portugal and to Switzerland to celebrate the 50th anniversary of Honor Majesty's Secret Service.
You better be doing tons of vlogs there.
Oh my God, it's going to be Looney Tunes.
So we want everybody to also spend a few minutes to be able to ask anything that they want, both Joe's as well as my YouTube. By the way, shout out to Colin Blake. Shout out. There it is, buddy. Anything that you want to know from us, again, we don't know the secrets of Bond 25, so you may want to make it a little bit more about being James Bond or the Bond experience. For some of you that have missed any part of this, these will be on our YouTube, which is great about this. You can go back at 2 in the morning if you missed the beginning of this, because we know these live streams can get a little bit long. When do you think there'll be a Bond 25 official announcement? That's a great question. I think there's going to be something coming in the next 2 to 3 weeks. I think there'll be a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to wait for the press event. The press event is supposed to happen at the end of February, beginning of March. But I think that they're going to leak something out a little bit more, not so much the cast officially, but a little bit more maybe plot synopsis.
Okay.
But we'll have to see. Just finished your book, Joe. Loved it. Can't wait for the next one.
Thank you, buddy. Thank you, Jeep Cam.
That's very cool.
Thank you.
When did you really get into Bond as a hobby? James Rawlings. I got on it when I was about 35 years old. A young executive, had some spending money, and decided to start living the Bond lifestyle. What about you? Like 15 seconds or less?
Probably around the same time, actually. Somewhere in the mid-Brosnans is when I kind of went from casual fan to crazy fan.
These are quick hit answers, by the way. Someone asked, Kenneth asked, what Bond watch am I wearing? I am wearing the Omega Planet Ocean. It seems to be my go-to. I've got a few other ones, but I don't know. It feels like, my real estate. Matt says, do you feel good about the amount of time they've had working on the script? I'll let you answer that first.
I don't know. That's an interesting one.
Good question.
Sometimes not enough time to work on a script is a problem, and sometimes too much time to tinker with a script and have people tinker with it.
Look at Quantum of Solace.
Right, yeah, they were short on that one, but I've seen other examples where it gets passed around and reworked and retooled and doesn't resemble what it started with, and that can be a problem. So, hard to say.
Colin Blake asked, I'm not sure how live this is. It's live, Colin. It's live. And yeah, I would agree. I think they've had enough time to work on the treatment. I think the director hasn't been on too long, but he's a writer. So yes. I think he may be the type of guy to do this. Are you guys going to be at the press event for Bond 25? Thanks for a great live stream. Honestly, yeah, that would be cool. I have no idea. And I'm not putting on airs or anything. I have no idea if we will be at the press event. We would love to be at the press event. It would be amazing. I think it would be a really good sign that Eon, Universal, and United Artists releasing are embracing the fan groups and influencers in general.
That would be cool. I got one for you. Being that I'm a larger human, any suggestions on where to purchase Bond-type clothing in 3X and up? Well, maybe that's...
Yeah, no, that's a great... But that is a good question because we are going to be having more Frugal Bond moments. Cool. I do think I'm going to give a shout out to a place called in the United States called Kohl's. Kohl's has a huge store that has a lot of Bondian type things. They have a lot of shawl collar sweaters and they have large sizes. Yeah. And I think it's great. I mean, I think, rocket, man. And we'll be having more Frugal Bonds that talk about different size groups. Who would you like to be the music composer? This will take 2 seconds for me.
2 words. David Arnold.
Oh, then 1 word for me. Ditto.
Yeah.
The Fonz say, is the fat guy going to talk about nutrition? I don't know what that means, the Fonz. Why do I think that that's a troll thing?
Yeah, good.
Yeah. Dave, what do you guys think about Bond 25 being released in February? I'm fine with it.
I'm
you don't like it?
Well, I mean, put it this way. That's when it will be done, so that's when it will come out. But I do sort of miss the either the summer blockbuster Bond or the Christmassy.
It was special. It was holiday.
Yeah. So the February just kind of does sort of feel like a
Valentine's Day?
I mean, it is. It is Valentine's Day, and again, now I don't have to plan a date with my girlfriend that day. Honey, guess where we're gonna be?
Nothing says love like a cinema ticket to James Bond. What do you guys think about James Bond colognes? I guess they mean the licensed one that say 007.
Yeah, what's the one, the ocean spray or whatever? The ocean. That's not a good word for it, but there's a.
Oh, I know the one you're talking about that Daniel Craig actually wears.
There's one with the
blue
with the Bond. Yeah.
Yeah, you like that?
Not that much. I have it and I've worn it, but I'm not crazy about it.
Yeah. I'm not crazy about any of them. They're fun as a joke. I have them. You guys going to Secret Cinema? I will be going for sure. Definitely. Danielle and I will definitely be going.
Joseph R., why are you doing this so early? I'm working and I can't enjoy this. Sorry, buddy. I wonder how I can get to the premiere of a Bond premiere. You and me both. I've heard that they sell tickets, but how do you get them? Can you help me? How do you get to a
premiere?
Yeah, this is like, sir, how do you get to Cardigan Hall?
You either know somebody, or some people actually went the day of and went to Royal Albert Hall and got them. So it's kind of luck of the draw. Do you think any of the delay issues are now over? Will they definitely come through on time as stated? I think they'll come on time.
I don't see why not, but I mean, anything can happen.
John says 007 is not too bad. I'm talking about the cologne. Bill Bakonik likes Tobacco Vanille, the Tom Ford one. You and me both.
Yeah, that's good.
What about quality of colognes in general? This is a very much a Bond experience question, but you know what? I'm just such a creature of habit. For years, I've stuck with Tom Ford Tobacco Vanille. That's just what I go to.
Yeah.
And he likes Axe spray. No,
yeah. Those commercials.
What do you like? What, do you wear cologne?
I very rarely, and honestly, I usually just wear what my girlfriend buys me. That is. I kind of feel like that's one of those things. It's a very personal thing because just certain people are attracted to different scents.
Yeah.
So it's almost even hard to try to zero in on what Bond might wear.
Do you think Hanks will return? Asked Tommy. Do you think he should return?
So I think yes.
You think he will?
I don't know if he will. Well, I have certainly not heard anything about him coming back. I've heard that he would like to come back, and since Dave Bautista seems to be trying his hardest to get fired from Disney, he might be looking for work. So I would like to see him come back.
Yeah.
The way they left off, he could easily be a reoccurring like Jaws come back.
Totally.
You know,
totally.
I mean, and he again, I like Dave Bautista very much. I thought his character in there was pretty good, and only really scratched the surface, really. So
I agree with you, and I think his character was serious enough when he tore the guy's head and then did the gouging of the eyes.
Yeah.
You felt that kind of like this is a serious one.
Yeah.
Somebody says, is Omega going to be the watch supplier in Bond 25? Yes. Yes, they are. You haven't seen anything official, but trust me, there are people in the know that have all authenticated this. It will not be. I don't believe it'll be the new blue one that everybody sees out there. And am I getting the new watch? I don't know.
I got a guy here named Michael Darlington, something or other. Any interest in a Christoph Nolan directed Bond? Interest, yeah. Do I think it's going to happen? Probably not.
What about if they have a new Bond, a new actor? Do you think it'll happen?
Possibly, but again, that would be an interesting one because Nolan is a certain kind of a director. I could see him taking on maybe like doing his own Bond trilogy, kind of like how he did a Batman trilogy. I could see it.
Yeah, I could see it too.
And I mean, Nolan is cool as hell. I mean, I love Christopher Nolan.
Do you know who Jose Alfredo Fernandez is? Asked Matt. He's listed on IMDb as Bond 25 henchman. I don't know, but I know with IMDb you've got to be careful because people who have an account with IMDb can go in there and put something on there. It can be taken down by production, but if production doesn't see it up there, it can come in as fact when it's not. So you gotta be careful with that. Jim Cottle says, "I'll see you at Secret Cinema. Vesper martinis all around." Jim, I'm going to find you and get that Vesper. So Riyadh wants a Rolex instead of an Amiga. That would be cool. I don't think it's going to happen. Should Tesla cars ever be a Bond car? Tesla.
A Bond car? Yeah. I don't know.
Maybe like the Ford Focus one. Like maybe the one he drives as a disguise?
Possibly. I wouldn't mind seeing it in a Bond film, but that's for sure. But as the Bond car, yeah. I'm a little old school when it comes to.
You want to see me get into trouble with a lot of people?
Sure.
You want to see me lose like 50 followers like instantly?
Okay.
I don't think Bond should drive a fuel efficient car.
You know, it's funny you said that. I was going to make a wisecrack and say I don't want to see Bond have to stop and plug in the car in the middle of a car chase.
Or he's at a stoplight and it goes silent. He's like, oh hell. I don't want to see that. Yeah. But that's just me. Tesla and Aston Martin are looking at working together, says Bjorn. Oh, hey! Bjorn Gavert, my good friend.
Hey, what's up, Bjorn? What's going on?
So I didn't know that they're looking to working together. All right. I'll take an Aston Martin Tesla version.
Bjorn, I got something in the mail from you. You'll be hearing from me very soon. Thank you, my friend.
Are you going?
Well, I should.
Let's not talk about it. Then everybody will know. What designer would you guys like to see take over for Bond 26? Or suit maker, I think the person's asking. Justin's asking that. Do you have an opinion on suit maker?
No, I will refer to you on that one.
I would, Matt Spazer is so much better at this, and he has a whole list, and so is Pete from Human Research. But I will say that I wouldn't mind Tom Ford returning, but I would love to see Dunhill. I would love to see, even Turnbull and Asser.
Yeah,
They've been so good about
I would
this.
not mind a couple classic names popping back up.
Brioni.
Yeah.
Brioni would be interesting. Oh, Kevin says Brioni as well. So here we go, guys. I think we've monopolized your time enough. What do you think? We're hungry. So. We've got to eat a nutritious lunch. You may see us, this is just a little FYI, pop up, without knowing it, on Instagram later as a live video. We're Joe and I have a lot of work to do today. A lot of things, don't we?
We
a lot of business we've got to conduct. But I do want to thank you all for joining us. This was great. We had a ton of people come on. These are obviously working. This was great to do it with my friend.
Yeah.
Hopefully you'll do it again with me.
A lot of fun. Absolutely. I kind of feel like every time we kind of get together to do some video, why not throw a little live stream in there?
It goes without saying. It makes me really hungry too.
I agree.
And thank you for everybody and the questions. If we haven't done all the shout outs, we'll do some answers later via some other thing. Again, these will be posted up. But should we do our ending?
What's our ending?
This has been David Zaritsky for the Bond Experience.
And this has been Joe Darlington from Being James Bond.
We'll see you very soon. Take care.
Thanks for joining.
Now we'll see if it takes 9 years for us to shut this down.
Seriously. Like an old man with the remote.